Let's be having you therapy. I mean, big up Khalees Ramadan Lassie. Big up to everybody coming in here. Smash a like on the video already, please. Subscribe to the channel. And make sure after you watch this or later on, go and check out the Straight Jacket podcast. 300. Make sure we get Saeed to 150. Let's get Saeed to 150,000 people. Let's do it. We're on the road to 15K on this channel. Big up to you. Love and light. Sacking Eric tonight will cost around 17 million. Yeah, we know that. Big up. This thing about this new Patrice Evra, this has always been in the rumors. We were talking about this in the stands for a long time that he wanted to do this, but the Glazers didn't want to know. The Glazers said, nah, man. Glazers were like, nah. We're not here. So at the end of the day, it's what it is. Big up everybody. Today, we're going to talk about who's replacing Eric Ten Hag. And we're going to put it out there in the chat as well, people. Who do we want? Who do you want, people? Who do you want? Who's going to be replacing Eric Ten Hag? What type of coaches? Do you want managers? Do you want the Allegris? Do you want the Contes, the Simeones? Or do you want young modern coaches who can lay down the foundation of modern football in a football club, then to go and get the big managers who take you over the line? Is that what you want? Or do you not understand that? There's some of you missing the concept of learning to crawl before you can walk, learning to walk before you can sprint. We're going to go through it in stages, right? Learn to crawl, learn to walk, learn to sprint. We're going to be doing it. Big up. And I also believe that this thing about them backing him is real. They want to back him. So, yeah, you are T. Who are we? You are T. Who are we? Let's be having you, Bert. Let's be having you. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. As we go through tonight, who post Eric Ten Hag. You know, we're looking beyond Eric Ten Hag. This is on Ineos, is when Ineos pulled the trigger. It's purely on Ineos. And it's about when time Ineos pulled that trigger. So, people, smash that like. Let's get to 100 likes, people. It's already over 200 even here. Big up Saeed for the raid. Big up for that conversation we just had on there. So I want to know quickly, right? Get in the comments now, and I'm going to check the names. Who do you want to replace Eric Ten Hag? Do it now. Get in the comments. Who do you want replacing? Two things you got to do for me. You got to like the video for me, and then you got to give me a name you want to replace Eric Ten Hag. Do you want Ruud van Nistelrooy till the end of the season? Do you want Tuchel? Do you want Allegri? Do you want any of those kind of has-beens? Or do you want a Nagelsmann? Do you want the guy from Portugal? I forgot his name. Or do you want Iraola? Who do you want? Have you liked the video? Have you liked the video? Tell me the names. Let me just get into there. Let me just sort out quickly. Let me just, the poll. I'm just doing the poll now. Give me a second, people. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's see this. Let's see what you put. Let's see who you've gone for, people. Let's see who you've gone for. Who are we gone for? Who are we gone for? Right. Who are we gone for? Inzaghi. Right, that's a big shout. Shay, that's a good shout. Yeah? Klopp. It's never going to happen. Sorry. Sorry's available, but that's not going to happen. Give me Rudy, says here. Big up, I've said, I've given up on coaches, you tell us. Well, I'm going to give you three. Somebody says Klopp again. Somebody says McKenna. Somebody saying Rude. Who do you want as the coach and the manager of Manchester United? Quickly. Let me know, people. Who do you want? I want to know. De Zerbi. Southgate. Now, somebody's taking the piss. Nagelsmann. Somebody saying Tuchel suits us. Okay. De Zerbi. De Zerbi's gone. Unless till the end of the season, if we can get him out. De Zerbi. Rude. Realistic, guys. Amorim, that's the guy, yeah? Some people want Amorim. I knew it. I was waiting for it, Dante. Dante was the first one to do it. Dante was like, bring Ollie back brigade, innit? But the revisionist historians, bro, honestly. You can't make it up. Rona coach, Michelle, yeah? Michelle. You want Michelle, yeah? Oh, listen, they'll never give me the job. Alonso, he says Alonso. Southgate, somebody saying. Khalees is saying Inzaghi, Amorim, or Tuchel. So you rate Tuchel, Khalees. That's interesting. Potter, Nagelsmann, or Gary O'Neill. When can we get Nagelsmann? Well, he's doing it for he's doing a job for the national team, innit? German national team. I want Inzaghi, yeah. I understand, to me, Inzaghi's in my top 3. Michel from Girona, Zidane, yeah, but I don't think he's realistic. He doesn't want to manage in the Premier League. Inzaghi or Amorim, that's also realistic. Gary O'Neill, somebody's saying. Somebody's saying Frank Lampard. Can you imagine? Oh, big up Mr. Bean, Ollie Sexual. Big up to you. Michelle. Wayne Rooney. Wow. That is crazy. That's proper left field, that. Carlos Corporan. Tell me about that, Steve H. Who's that? Who does he manage? Southgate will save us. Bruno Lage. Okay. Bruno Lage, yeah. I just rate Tuchel defensively. Not sure about going forward, yeah. Well, we need a balance in it. We need a coach to coach. But big up to everybody. The 3 that we decided to look at, let me just have a look. Let me just, let me just shout basically, let me just put this on Twitter. Let me just put this. We're thinking about solutions, people. Solutions. It's all about the solutions, isn't it? We don't just moan and groan about what manager. So we're going to do solutions. I'm just going to put this on Twitter now. So hopefully people will know what we're on about. But yeah. The other topic that we're going to talk about tonight is that I do genuinely believe Ineos. Somehow I got a gut feeling. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. You know what? I'm genuinely hope that I'm wrong. When they say they back, so I think Ineos mean it when they say they back Ten Hag, Erik Ten Hag. I don't think they're going to sack him. I think if it gets really dire, really dire, if it gets really dire in around Christmas, then I think they might pull the trigger for January, right? Because maybe because of the financial year, they can sack him. Apparently, how much is going to cost to be able to sack him is about 17 million. Big up. Let me just get these quick super chats quickly. Big up. Thank you so much for that. Nagelsmann or Ruben, which one do you think is more suited? And why do people get better when you tell them that Rashford and Bruno won't got us anywhere? I don't know, bro. I don't know why people get butthurt. It's the way it is, innit? It's the way it's in it. It's sentiment, innit? A lot of it is sentiment. Big up to you. Appreciate the super chat. Nagelsmann's perfect for me. Don't know why Bayern sacked him. Yeah. Well, I think it was a different kind of expectations with Bayern. It's about the expectations, innit? And he didn't meet, and they were supposed to win the league there and then. So yeah. So, but the other things that I genuinely don't think they're gonna sack Erik Ten Hag as we think they're gonna. The sacking is imminent. I don't think it is. We are live now. I'm just sending this tweet out with on my door. Come on, Tom. Where are you, Tom? Get on here. Tom, journalist one. Tom, I can't even find him. Journalist. He usually comes up. What am I doing wrong? TOM. J-O. Journalist. 1. I don't know why that's not happening, but people, give me a shout, people. What's going on? Can you see Tom in the about? Can you see Tom in the notifications? Can you see Tom? No, Tom's not here yet. My neighbor's knocking. Obviously, I'm live and I can't answer it because I don't want to leave the stream. Oh, they've gone. They've gone. People, listen. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. So, to me, it's either Ruben, Nagelsmann, or Iraola. Who do you want out of those three? Right? Ruben. Khalees, if you write that down for me. Ruben, Nagelsmann, or Iraola. Who do you prefer out of those three that I selected? Who do you prefer to manage Manchester United? Who do you prefer? Come on, people. Get in the chat. Let me know who you prefer. I don't know what's going on with social media today, but Twitter's acting funny. And what are the criterias? Let me listen, guys. Please let me know what are the criterias of Manchester United is like. What as fans? What do we want? Do we want a coach, hands-on coach, training ground coach like me? Do you want that, or do you want a manager? Do you want someone like Allegri? Let me know in the comments. I need you to let me know in the comments. You know, I need you to let me know in the comments, people. What do we want? Do we want somebody who's basically going to come in and coach the life out of these players so that, because especially we've got young players, that it's going to really, really help this young team, right? Or do we want a manager that you think we're going to challenge for a league title? Do you think that? Do you genuinely think that? Do you know what I mean? What do we need from the next coach? And who do we want? Who do we... Yeah, who do we want, people? Who do we want? Right? Let's do it. Let's do it, people. Who do we want? Do we want an old school guy who's going to now, we're going to win at all costs and maybe compete for some league? Or do we want a coach that's going to come in and lay down the fundamentals? Lay down the fundamentals. So let's have a look at the strength, yeah? We're going to look at these strength coaches. Who should we go first? I think we should look at... First guy we should look at, me personally, is Alonso is not going to come, people. Alonso is not going to come. Amorim. Thiago Motta just got a job. Thiago Jota just got a job. So I don't think he's going to come. Right? Thiago Jota just got a job at Amorim. Yeah? Yeah? Who do you want, people? Explain to me. Amorim, what's his greatest strength? What's the greatest strength of Amorim? What is it? Somebody tell me in the comments. Yeah? What is it? What's the favorite thing about him as a coach? What is the first favorite thing about Amorim as a coach, people? What do we think, guys? What's the thing about Amorim that you like? What's the thing that you like about Amorim? What I like about is his intensity, to be fair. I liked how intense he is, his team, obviously he didn't have the quality. He doesn't, obviously, of a big team. He doesn't have the best players, but his team is always prepared for whatever it is. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? There's a clear game plan with Amorim. Majority of them, to be fair, there's a clear game plan. There is clear game plan. There is clear game plan. That's the thing that I like about Amorim, right? Liverpool nearly went there, but I don't know why they pulled back. You know? Liverpool had him, but I don't know why I don't know what scared them off, if I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what scared Liverpool off. Was it the package? What scared Amorim off Liverpool? You want Klopp, Lilas. Klopp is never coming to Manchester United. Yeah, Bumbaye would want him. Yeah, man, I will tell him. But you're getting a yellow card because you've done too much. You're put in a bit of a timer. You're on a timer out now, man. Getting that on that timer. Let me just get this super chat. We need a European winner, same as Fergie, equals Aberdeen. Boy, we can't always go back to what he did. Inzaghi's the coach. Yeah, I should have added Inzaghi on that as well, to be fair. We add Inzaghi in that name as well. I like Inzaghi because the interplay, the football. But Ruben Amorim, what is it about him? Ruben Amorim is a low press. In the low press, Ruben Amorim uses 1-5-2-3 formation. They look to set up a mid-block, always trying to stay compact while closing the center, forcing the opposition to go wide. Therefore, likely to play with a higher back line, making space to the midfield line in small as possible. So making the space to the midfield line, yeah. He's also very good at interchanging movements to direct the opposition defenders and create space for the attackers to exploit. He focuses on exploiting the wings and half spaces with players like when they had Pedro, Pablo Sabeta and Nuno Santos. So it depends. He makes use of the players that he has. He makes clear use of the players that he has. Tom, how you doing?
There you go.
Well, look, we're doing a solution show tonight. We're doing a solution show. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Guys, we're not even 100 likes and it's nearly 200 of you in here, right? There's over 200 of you in here. We're not even on that. So tonight we're looking at people. So we've got Amorim, Inzaghi, Iraola, and Nagelsmann. Those four managers, those four coaches, Tom. That's what we're looking at. I'm not using ChatGPT. No, I'm not. Notes that I did earlier today, I'm just looking at my notes. I made notes about each guy that I thought, this is how they're going to play. Yeah. So Amorim, like I said to you, this is the notes that I made, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. Compact shape, Amorim plays with compact shape. High line, Amorim's team play with midfield destroyer. Amorim's team uses a midfield destroyer to break up the play. Covering wide spaces, Amorim's teams, there it is, look, it's not Jack TP, right? Exploiting the wings. He uses sometimes 3-4, 3-diamond formation. Amorim team uses that formation with 3 mobile defenders and 1 defensive midfielder, 2 controlling midfielders and 1 striker and 2 wingers. And 1 versatile centre forward. Amorim success with Sporting include winning the club's first league title in 19 years in La Liga. Right? These are the type of things Ruben Amorim does. Right, Tom? Yeah. Do you rate somebody else? Who would you like as the next coach of Manchester United?
Look, I've always been open and transparent. I'm not here for this, short-termism with managers and stuff. Look, I'll give a manager time, but I need to see an instant impact of a style of play. Put it this way, if we was on the sort of journey that, say, Chelsea are on right now with Maresca, where you can see what they're doing straight away. That's what I want from a manager. I want them to come in and show us what they're doing straight away. And look, from what I've seen with a lot of our rival clubs where they've got managers in, they've not gone for people who have got these super pedigrees who have won everything in the game. They've not gone for proven winners. They've gone for managers who have shown something or a way that they play which that club likes or wants to bring to their own club. Look, do you honestly think that, Arne Slot was Liverpool's first choice? He wasn't. They wanted Xabi Alonso. They didn't get Xabi Alonso, but they've ended up with Slot, who's a good option, who plays decent football. Are Liverpool fans really complaining, No, they're not. When Spurs went for Ange was, I think, what was he, like 5th or 6th? They didn't get any of the guys that they wanted in the beginning. Slot was one of the managers that they wanted at the time. They didn't get him. So there's a lot of clubs in and around us who haven't gone for these wow managers. Even Chelsea in the summer, we were all taking the piss out of them, that the hiring managers from the Championship. The two best managers in the Championship last season were Maresca and McKenna. Those were the two that they wanted. And when they couldn't get McKenna, because Brighton wanted him at the time, and then also Man United were supposedly looking at McKenna as well. Look, we don't need to go over old school tracking. If I had to put my chopping blocks on the line, and I had to say a couple of names, out of the ones that you've listed, if I had to pick one out of them, I like Amorim. I like the way that his team plays, discipline. He's a very adaptable coach. He plays a lot of different formations and systems. He'll adapt to play the way that an opposite, so that the strengths of his squads and his team at Sporting plays against, say, the best teams in the world. So when you play against City, what I've seen him do a couple of times when Sporting have drawn City in the Champions League is they revert to this back five system, but they allow for one of the centre-backs to drop into midfield and one of the full-backs bombs on forward and a midfielder drops in. So it's a little bit unorthodox and it's not something that teams at the highest level are used to playing against week in, week out. That's why I like him so much. And look, a lot of clubs wanted him in the summer. West Ham were so close to getting him and he didn't end up going there. Liverpool wanted him and he didn't end up going there. Brighton wanted him as well and he didn't end up going there. A lot of Premier League clubs looked at him in the summer. I do think his football would be adaptable to over here. But also, if I'm going to put somebody maybe a little bit left field that I don't think gets a lot of credit for what he's done, I've always liked Thomas Frank at Brentford. I like the guy. I like the way that he operates as a coach. He plays, I think, a decent style of football, which a lot of our players right now, I think, could gravitate towards. I think players like Rashford, for what a lot of us give him a lot of shit for, I think someone like Thomas Frank, with the way that he plays within Burmo and Vissa, those kind of technical players who want to just run full pace and power. Marcus Rashford's game, is kick the ball 10 yards and run after it. That's what his game is. But the basic simplistics of it all is you have to have a foundation as a squad. So if I was going to put someone forward from maybe a bit more left field than the names that you've mentioned, I've always liked Thomas Frank. He's been very loyal to Brentford. And look, considering the budgets, they are the only football club, correct if I'm wrong, Dino, in the whole Premier League that don't have a billionaire owner, if I'm not mistaken. I think they've got, I think their owner's worth about, 25, 30 million pounds. He's not worth a lot, their owner. And the logistics of how they run as a club as well, I think is very smart. But as well with the tactics, Dino, we've seen that guy pull up here so many times with Brentford, and he's played us off the park with far worse players than what we have right now at the disposal. So for me, I don't want a coach who necessarily, has won everything in the game. I'm not bothered about that. I just want somebody who plays a decent style of football who's going to come in here straight away. None of these lines that, when we speak about Man United managers, we always say they have this one line and it sticks with them. Ten Hag's errors come to an end. Mourinho's is we're going to bring the glory days back. Van Gaal's, was have him inspire and good fucking buy. All these managers, they have that one coining phrase that sticks with them. Solskjaer's was, we need more legs in here. Like, there's all these managers that have these sort of big words and they talk the big game, but they don't end up backing it up. I don't so much want somebody who's going to talk and tell us he's going to do this. I just want them to do it. That's all that I want. And at the end of the day, from where I think we stand right now is we just need a coach, you know. We need a coach Monday to Friday, work properly, intensely with the players. Don't put so much pressure on him in the first 12 months and let him try and work something with what we've got. But for me, if I had to pick one out of your lists that I've said, I like Amorim out of all of them more so, to be honest with you. And out of all of them, look, Inzaghi I like, but I don't think you're going to get him out of Italy. I just think he's one of those managers who he stays in one league and that's that. I think he's a little bit like Zidane, where he just doesn't want to leave that league, his comfort zone, where he gets his best results. You could say, make an argument with Amorim, but I think he will take a step up to a bigger football club at some point. But I think probably the question that I'm going to throw back to you, Dino, is I'll give you my answer to it, my own question, but I'll pass it to you afterwards. Do you think that we have to sign a permanent manager straight away? Or are you here for this caretaker thing? But for me, I think we need to go for somebody straight away. No pissing about, arsing about. If you've got to pay to get the guy out of there, you've got to pay to get him out of there. I want somebody this season. I don't want to wait till next summer. What do
So you
you
don't
think?
want any interim?
I don't want any interim caretakers. As soon as you get rid of him, Dino, 3 days later, I want to know that we've got a new manager.
Apparently,
That's
that's
what
how
I
much
want.
it's going to cost. That's how much it's going to cost, 17 million.
Yeah, but that's not just Ten Hag. That's inclusive of his backroom staff and everything as well. I think you only have to pay about 10 million to Ten Hag personally. The rest of them you just have to pay off individually. The only reason why that's so high as well, guys, I'll just give a bit of context to it, is because Van Nistelrooy and Rene Hack have only just signed on this season. Because if you sacked all of them straight away, because they've only recently joined, they've got long-term contracts that they've only signed just recently. So that's why that figure's so high, because his backroom staff all have long-term contracts at United, whereas Van der Gaag and McLaren, for example, when they've both left, they only had like 6 months left on their deals. So to negotiate to get them to leave or to move on to another job, it's not hard to do. Whereas these guys now, they add to the package of what it takes to sack a manager. And I think people forget that sometimes, Dino, that it's not just you sack one guy as the manager, you sack everybody that's come with him. And there is quite a few people that we have brought in with him, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
yeah, big up. A lot of people are asking me about players respecting. You know what players respect? Players respect the game plan and something that works. Players are not asked about. It's not like the old school footballers. They're not asked about what you've won. Modern footballers are not asked about what you've won. They're asked about, can you give me a proper plan that actually works, that's going to make me look good and going to improve me as a player? That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for, this, you won that. They're not looking for that. Who the fuck was Pep Guardiola? Who was Zinedine Zidane? Other than they were players before they got given the Real Madrid jobs and the Barcelona jobs. They were coaches that were coaching in the reserves in both clubs. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. The biggest thing is that I want to continue, Tom. So big up. You think Thomas Frank? I just think we need to get away. I think Thomas Frank is good at what he does, but I think with an attacking emphasis on organization is what we needed at Manchester United. One thing I would say, it's no fluke. 3 times, or is it 4 times? The first time a team in Premier League history have scored within the first minute. So Thomas Frank has a distinct and things that they work on, and players then execute it to a T. They're the only club in Premier League history to have scored goals in 3 consecutive games before a minute is done. Within the first minute. I think the first goal was 28 minutes, 28 seconds, 29 seconds, and the other one was like 40 seconds, or something like that, 30 or 40 seconds that they scored. So Thomas Frank has got clear ideas, right? You can poo-poo it, you can look down on it. At the end of the day, he's looking down on us. So you can poo-poo it all you want. I just like somebody who's a bit more progressive. So I told you about Amorim. Let me tell you about Nagelsmann, right? And then I'm going to tell you the person who I think should be the next Manchester United coach. Because the players have already understood, and I'll tell you the reasons why. But let's get to Nagelsmann. You ready, Tom? Tom, are you ready? I think Tom might have gone silent for a minute. Big up, Tom. Yeah, Tom will be back in a minute. Yeah. It's crazy what they're doing. No, listen, that's what you think, though. That's what you think. You think Thomas Frank being given better players, do you not think he's got better plans? Better plans to be? Big up Khalees from Marine Lassie. Khalees, if you can post some of the quotes that you had earlier in the beginning, I'm happy to share them again. But let me just read the notes that I made, right? So these are the other notes that I made, right? Right, about Nagelsmann. These are the notes that I made. So Nagelsmann, this is Julian Nagelsmann. He's the current manager of German national team, right? Nagelsmann teams use variety of attacking approaches, playing through the middle, exploiting wide areas, and switching play quickly. This makes it harder for defenses to predict the team's approach. That's his attacking play. Quick movement, Nagelsmann make quick exchanges, the movement between position lines, right? So it's all about doing things quickly, right? So the passing's got to be accurate. Fluid attacking structure. Team often have a fluid attacking structure where forward and midfielders interchange positions, create opportunities from deep runs, and make it harder for defenders to track, right?
Yeah.
Aggressive movements. Nagelsmann's team use aggressive movements. Pushing opposition defenses deeper. Nagelsmann's team push the deeper towards their own goal, right? So they make runs. They literally go beyond. So they turn defenders. His teams turn defenders. They turn them. And that, when you turn defenses, then the defense is destabilized. If you're playing in front of a defense, they can just watch you play in front of them all day, right?
Yeah.
He does width, yeah, where the wider players are more central areas of the pitch rather than holding the touchline. So he believes that the inverted wingers come in and actually combine, right? He believes preventing the wings, right? So the Nagelsmann teams emphasize preventing play down the wings. They don't actually go and attack the wings all of the time. They like to come forward with speed.
Yeah.
Nagelsmann is known some of the most successful, he's known to have developed some brilliant players. So we talk about someone like Andrea Kamaric, Nicolas Sula, Marcel Sabitzer. He's that type of guy. The players are always on the run, right? The ball is played to the free number 10, who then takes the ball forward and attacks defenders. Nagelsmann to exploit the space between the centre-back and the full-backs by playing through balls from the midfield or the back line, running to attacking midfielders. That's what he believes.
What about
right?
his time at what about his time at Bayern, though? Do you know?
I personally think at Bayern, right, they wanted somebody who's going to win and got somebody they're going to give a time to embed case the way he wants to play.
So what you're saying is he's not he's a development coach. He's not here to win now.
He's not here to win now. No. He's the guy. You give him players, and then what you do with him is that he develops the game in a training ground. So you already see he'll play a very high line. They'll very hard kind of pressing, the Gegen press, which his teams have. And they look to play like quickly through. So the width guys come in and they look to play to go at the heart. They're very direct. He wants to play very direct and exploit the position between the way he wants to play attacking. It's exploiting the fullbacks and get players in position between the fullback and the centre halves. And then you got the late runners. Then once the ball is in the box, you've got people coming with the late runs. Right? Coming in. Yeah.
But
obviously,
do we have late running players though?
Well,
because we sold McTominay. Yeah, but McTominay. The only thing I'm saying, is McTominay, from what you've just said there, is like a late running player. If that's the case, then Nagelsmann, he'd love McTominay. That's his kind of player.
No, but listen. To be fair, it wasn't a late running player.
No, but he was.
It was crashing the box. No. His team, his players are not crashing the box. They do it every time. It's not like, towards the end of the game, let's all throw everything up front. No. What I mean for the players to be the cutback. So not all these players go to the challenge. Some players take the defense back almost into the goalkeeper. And then he has one or two midfielders at the edge of the area who are going to shape things, who are going to try to shoot, or the number 10 stays that side. And that could be Xerxes, right? Somebody who stays that side to do something. Right, big up to Kulusevski. Please make sure you follow him. Paul Scholes, we're 2 and a bit years down the road, and I said it. It's uncoached team. Yeah, that's what it looks like because that's the emphasis what Eric Ten Hag puts on. These players look dead today. They look flat. They look. I don't know what to do. There's no enthusiasm for the game of football. By the way, I had somebody send me a text today who's in and around Manchester United, and they basically said after the FC20 game, a lot of the players, Tom, were Eric Ten Hag was making them run like he did that first time. They were doing a lot of running, and
after the Brentford game.
Other than recovering, yeah, they had a very intense training session, and he reckons that's why the players look a bit tired and pissed off. But like he was punishing them. But that is what Nagelsmann is, people. I hope you got the gist. Now, who I think that we can go and get, we can bully Bournemouth, go and get that. He's playing now, 8 o'clock kickoff, right? By the time we finish this, it'll be 8 o'clock kickoff. And you can watch the way they play. You can watch the way they play, right, when he gets that right. So let's go to Iraola. Iraola's style of play is characterized by high press, counter press, which emphasizes limiting space for the opposition. So his thing is up the pitch, count the teams in there, keep them in there, limit the space. When out of possession, Iraola teams are set up in a 4-4-2 formation, what lines closely together. So he likes compact. He likes compact. That's one thing about him. You ain't going to see open wide spaces like you see with Eric Ten Hag. Right? Same with Amorim. You're never going to see that. These managers, whether they're mid-block, low block, or high press, compact, people.
Yeah.
Iraola's team pressed aggressively in the position size, the first coming from the striker and the number 10. Iraola's team counter-press. Iraola's team try to stay in the opposition half as long as possible, recovering the ball high. This is what Eric Ten Hag tried to do, but in a weird way. Wingers Iraola attempt to prevent progression on the outside when the ball moves to the full opposition fullbacks. So he demands a lot. So whether you're Garnacho, whether you're Marcus Rashford, whether you're Ahmad, Anthony, you've got to work hard. You ain't getting away with it. Oh, I'm going to cheat. No, you've got to track and stop. You got 3 jobs, basically. 3 jobs in the way I've seen his football. You're either cutting out the passing lanes, this as a winger, yeah? You're putting pressure on the ball, or you're either waiting for the trigger so that you all press. They're the 3 things that you're doing. You're either tracking their winger or fullback all the way down back, getting the ball back. Iraola's midfield shuttles across to prevent opposition from filtering the ball inside. So he doesn't like one player, he likes midfielders. And boys, oh boys, we've got midfielders. He doesn't go with a one pivot, one person. No, we've got midfielders. Iraola's style of play is similar to the way he played in Rayo Vallecano, the club that he's managed. It says that the stats of both clubs are not very different. And there are many things where they are good and they continue to be good. Iraola places much value in aggressive without the ball. This shows Bournemouth high press. Iraola wants his team to go man for man, intensely press the opposition, then almost use that high press as an attacking threat, scoring many goals and winning ball in a high press. So it's similar to what Eric Ten Hag wants to do, but he does it and he coaches it properly and he does it intensely. That's what he does. That's what he does.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, right? Nagelsmann is more like, all 3 of them press, by the way, all of them. But the only difference between Nagelsmann, right, and Amorim and Iraola is that Iraola and Amorim believe in compactness, right? They're more compact managers. Now, let me have a look at Inzaghi, because I'm going to make this up, so I'm going to look at Inzaghi. It's weird, isn't it, how he spelled his name, yeah? Inzaghi. How is it? Is it I-Z, isn't it? I-Z.
Yeah, I-Z. No, it's I-N-Z, isn't it?
I-N-Z.
Yeah.
C-H. Yeah, Inzaghi.
I don't know. I'm dyslexic, so.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic as well, Tom. There you go. Big
Oh,
up. Say, that's why great minds think alike, mate. That's why we're creative. And that's why we see things other people don't, Tom.
Yeah, true.
Right, let's do it. Right, style of play. Let's look at this. Inzaghi.
Yeah.
Inzaghi's style of play, right? His emphasis in rotation, fluidity, and the build-up through the thirds with short passes. Right? His formation sometimes is 3-5-2 formation. That's what he plays for. Okay. The build-up, Inzaghi's team look to build up through the thirds with short passes, harassing player, playing forward and penetrating. Rotations. Inzaghi's team have more fluidity and rotation and unpredictable movement. For example, midfielders might rotate more freely, moving from flank to flank, swapping positions with the centre backs, right?
Yeah.
Double wide occupation. Enter drops into midfield into a defense and allows one of his wide centre backs to push up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Numeral superiority. So he believes in like what is it called? When you got too many players on one side. What's that called? Oh,
overload.
God. Overloads. Yeah, he's a massive believer in overloads. But he creates that. So the player that he uses that for the numerical superiority is Hakan Kanaloglu.
Chanoglu,
the defense and one of the midfielders to join him. Long balls. These balls are often come from Kanaloglu, but also from defenders Stefan De Vrij or Bastoni, right? Inzaghi has built a reputation of getting the most out of his players. He's known for deployment of 3-5-2 formation with wing backs that like to get forward and join the attacking play. He plays in it differently. In terms of the formations, right? The others, really formational-wise, some of them are not even so hang up on the formation. They're not. They'll play 4-3-3. For example, Nagelsmann will play 4-3-3, but he'll play with different. Iraola, he likes the way he likes to press, like without the possession. He likes to be set up like 4-2-2. 4-4-2. Like that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get outnumbered in midfield, so that's how he likes to set up. But on the ball, it's like 4-3-3. Like that's how he likes to play. Really, right?
But yeah.
And Amorim, let's see what Amorim's formation. I'm just trying to see what formation he likes. He likes to use that, like the diamond, right? Amorim's team uses 3-4-3 diamond formation with 3 mobile defenders, 1 defensive midfielder, 2 controlling midfielders, 1 striker, and 2 wingers, and a third style forward. That's what he does. So this is where we're at, people. What do you want? Tom, out of the 3 that I've got to you, looking at our players, what coach do you think aligns with what we've got now?
Honestly, out of all of them, from the formations and everything,
we're not going to get Motta. We're not going to get Motta to start a job at Juventus unless something seriously goes wrong. We're talking about 3 or 4 that are realistic.
Yeah.
He's been there. Inzaghi's been at Juventus Inter Milan for how many years? He took them to a Champions League final. He might fancy a talent in a new season. Yeah, he might fancy something different. Nagelsmann is the international coach. He's too young to be an international coach, so that's realistic. Iraola is Bournemouth. Come on, that's realistic. Amorim is realistic. It's realistic as well. But go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, out of all of the ones that you've mentioned, though, Dino, I only look at say Iraola and Amorim as the ones because Amorim, he wanted to go in the summer, didn't he? Let's be honest. You don't speak to that many different. You don't speak to that many different clubs unless you want to go. And Iraola, irrespectively of it, this is no disrespect to Bournemouth. They've lost their best number 9 and they've not really replaced him. They're not really going to give him funds that's going to boost him to make them more competitive in the league, really, are they, at Bournemouth? So he is going to be looking at pastures new at some point. A lot of coaches do. Out of the formations that you've said, honestly, for the players that we've got right now, I don't know why we've never flirted with a back 3. I really don't. And out of the 3 managers that we've said that I think plays well, he uses the back three almost as an attacking setup, is Amorim. And the compactness of it, Dino, from what I've seen, our biggest failure for the last 2-3 seasons in Ten Hag is there's been this big hole in midfield. High pressing, these pressing styles that everybody keeps talking about, right? I think we've had the last two managers that we've had now in Ragnick, if you want to call him the manager or not, he was here for a brief spell, guys. Ten Hag as well. They've tried to do this pressing style, I just don't think it suits us. I personally always believed that was the best way that we can play going forward, and I'll admit it to everybody and my own self that I got it wrong. I don't think you can. I don't think our team is built to play that way. Not right now, anyway. And if you want a lot of these players that we've bought right now not to go to waste, and we've not wasted £700 million, you're going to have to go for a manager who's got something different. What I look at, Dino, is I look at Iraola and I think, I've seen managers play the way that he does all the time. Spanish managers are very similar to what Iraola does in that sense. You've seen it with Michel over in Girona. Pep's the biggest name out there that plays that way. I've seen managers like Inzaghi come and go from that league and do well. Like your Contes in that league. Motta's the new one on the block, Dino. He's the new guy in there. Inzaghi was that guy at one point in time. And I just don't think he's going to want to leave, Inter Milan in that position where he can win league titles, he can win Scudettos, he can dominate for a decade. He can do what Juventus have done in that league, in the Italian league for years, Dino. And nobody's going to touch them for a couple of seasons. So I understand that he might want a new challenge, but it doesn't make sense for him to want to leave all of that winning success to come to a league that he doesn't speak the language of. He's never been here as a player. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's ever played outside of Italy when he was a player either. So he is like that. He is like that Zidane, who he sits in one country, he loves the culture and the language, and he doesn't leave it. That's just what I think Inzaghi is, me personally. Out of all the managers that you've put there, Nagelsmann makes a little bit of sense, but I just don't think this high pressing system suits us because it exposes us at the back completely. Out of all the managers that we've said, Dino, Amorim for me, I've liked Amorim for a very good couple of years, and he's not one of these managers who he sticks to one formation. He'll adapt it based upon what he wants the team to play or how he wants his team to play, but he gets the best out of what he uses with the players that he has at his disposal. And from what I've seen with this squad, I just want us to go for a coach who's going to, first of all, bring something new to the table. Have we ever really flirted with playing a back three, guys? I don't think we have. Not from what I can remember. I've seen back fives under Ollie, but Ollie wasn't a coach. He just picked a formation and said, let's go with it, boys. That's it. We've never used a back three system in this league. A lot of managers, when they come here, we always associate them with 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, or something like that. I don't see a manager come over to this league and try something like that. And that's why, for me, out of all the managers that I've seen right now, Amorim, I think, can get the best out of a lot of the players that we have right now. But I also think we have the quality in centre-backs at the back where we can play a back three. And you can have wing-backs invert, because we know Delo and Mazraoui are good at inverting into midfield and playing on the overlaps. They are both two players that are better at higher end up the field than they are at the back. And that's why, for me, out of what we've got, I just think Amorim fits us out of all of it. And I think out of all the managers that we've listed, he probably makes the most sense that you can get now. Because Iraola is mid-season at Bournemouth. Bournemouth don't want to lose their manager straight away unless you're going to pay him tax money. And Sporting, listen, coaches come and go in Portugal. In England, there's not a good crop of English managers that are coming through right now. We all get coaches from abroad. And that's why, for me, out of the managers that I've looked at, and when I've just broke it down for everybody there, I could only see Amorim being the perfect fit out of all of them. But that's just me.
Yeah, big up Jarvis. Sorry, I didn't see messages or anything.
Yeah, big up.
The notes that I made. How are you? How are the kids? How's family? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm good. I just came home from work, so I've been working all day. But I saw you guys were live, so I just jumped on. I hope it's okay, Nuruddin.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Jarvis, one thing about here, you're always welcome. It's always an honor. Always an honor.
Thank you.
So we've looked at the styles of play of. We're thinking about the next manager, Amorim. We've looked at Iraola, we've looked at Nagelsmann, and we looked at Inzaghi. And we could have looked at many more, you know. There is that, this the guy that I was going to bring in, Sebastian Hoeneß, who's gone to, who's now managing Nice, isn't it? Is he not managing Nice? So Sebastian Hoeneß, Sebastian Hoeneß, he's Stuttgart. He's a Stuttgart, yeah. And he's a very interesting coach as well, a young manager. He's the ex-Bayern Munich centre forward Didier, a nephew of Uli. So he's got footballing pedigree in his family and is making promising career. That's what's going on at this moment in time.
Budget manager.
He's most celebrated due today, however, is steering Stuttgart to Bundesliga safety at the tail of the last season. With 8 games to go, 5 points of the relegation playoff spot, Stuttgart managed to secure safety by overcoming Hamburg, an aggregate score of 6-1 in 2 decisive playoff encounters. This campaign, Stuttgart helped by the goal-scoring sensation of Seshu Gerzi, 13 goals, are the surprise team of the Bundesliga, sitting in second place, just behind Bayer Leverkusen. The other guy that some people like is the guy who's at Nice right now, the Italian young guy. And this is Ineos. Ineos scouted him. He's Italian. His name is Francesco Farioli, 34 years old. I'm looking for, Jarvis, the next kind of coaches who can lay down the fundamentals, because I'm believing now Erik ten Hag's done out here. Bring him back. I'm believing that Erik ten Hag's done out here, right? To me, it was done a long time ago. Some people just said it differently, but it was done a long time ago. So I'm looking for a coach that lays down the foundations. I'm looking for a coach that lays. So this is my philosophy. It might sound a bit of poetry, but I need a coach that can grab while we're crawling and get us to walk.
Yeah.
To get us to walk and maybe sprint a little bit. And then to go and get one of the big managers who bring the winning mentality to take a team over. So I'm not expecting a guy to come now to basically take us to a league or chat, whatever. No. I'm expecting a guy that can be here 2.5 years, 2 years, to come and lay down the foundations. The foundations on modern football, where the players are tactically fluid and technically he improves players. That's what I'm looking for. So Iraola, Amorim, Nagelsmann, Inzaghi. We could have looked at, like I said, the others that I said, this German kid at Stuttgart, right? Sebastian Hoeneß. We can look at someone like Francesco Ferrari, even Will Steele at Rennes, you know, Thiago Motta, Jagabota Araseta at Asasuna. You know, they beat the other night. Flick made changes, tried to rest, and they actually just destroyed him. So, did you watch the game? How are you feeling? Are you shocked? Are you surprised? And are you surprised that this channel is already looking ahead past Erik ten Hag? Because I think that race is run. And I don't think how, again, structurally, the team was all over the place. And nobody can ever use the red card, if you watch the game again, as an excuse to why we lost. But go ahead, Jarvis.
No, I have to admit, I didn't see the whole game. I just saw the first half. I saw it in a rerun because I came home late night. I was back home 2 o'clock, middle of the night. So I just saw the first half, then I fell asleep. So I haven't seen the whole game, but I understand from a tactical point of view, seeing 11 against 10, it doesn't give much. So the first half tells me a lot about how Ten Hag set up and his tactics and especially what Postecoglou did. So in a way, I would say we set up similar, both the Spurs and Man United. We played more of a similar formation, but the press play and how Spurs moved their legs and how the precise and tempo of the ball was something different. We were extremely sloppy, and we looked off the whole game, at least the first half as I saw it. So it's hard to sit there and defend Ten Hag. I won't do that, but I'm not sure if he's done as a manager because things can change very, very fast. And we know when it comes to Man United, every time we lose, it's a crisis. And every time we win, we are the best of the world again. So it goes up and down. And I've been on this roller coaster for at least 10 to 15 years, So I'm not sacking Ten Hag yet, but who knows what will happen? We can still win against Aston Villa and Porto, and things will be turned around. What I have seen so far this season, I've seen some glimpses of hope. I've seen some patterns. I see we do a couple of things differently since last year. Some things are improving. Some things are still the same. I actually said it last time we were on the show that it worries me that we will go back to the tennis football or the basketballification of football, back and forward. And we actually did against Spurs. So in a way, there was one step forward and two steps back. And now we are worse off than a lot of the times last season because the performance against Spurs was dreadful. So I just want to say, when it comes to a manager, you mentioned a lot of names. For me, Andoni Iraola, the guy who was at Bournemouth, I think he's a good manager. He's Spanish, but what I like about him and why I think he would suit us at Man United, because I think we are at the stage where we can't go and get one of the big name managers from a big club coming in and expecting this squad to win. We need someone who have coached a lesser team and made them good, and know how to get the best out of the players and the material he already have. And Andoni Iraola, he coached Rayo Vallecano, I think it was 3 seasons. And Rayo Vallecano, you can compare them to, I don't know, Sheffield United or something, like a really not a good team at all. And he made him come in.
I've been to their stadium. It's in the outskirts of neighborhood it's a neighborhood in Madrid.
And the thing is, I think he made them come top 10 in the Spanish league 3 seasons in a row. I think his best place was 6th or 7th or something like that. And then Bournemouth brought him in, and he's a good manager, and I think he can get the best out of our players, because let's just face it, our players ain't that good. We have a lot of players who needs replacement, but at the moment it can't be done. We don't have the money, and I think they are overpaid. They are on long contracts, and I think it will take a lot of time. So a player like Andoni Iraola, I think he could come in, and what I like about him, he plays really balanced all the time. He plays a mid block, but he can go counter attack. He can set traps. He can play a high line press if he wants. He's very adaptable, and that's what I like, because I think we need an adaptable coach to coach these group of players. I don't know what you think, Tom. Is he a good candidate in your opinion?
I think he's a good candidate. I personally like Amorim more than over him, just because I think he brings something different to the league that I've not seen before. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason. Like I was saying to Nuruddin just before and before you joined, I've seen managers like Inzaghi bring that style to this league and do okay, but then it goes P-tongue after a while. It's not sustainable long term. Conte brought that style over, won the league, and then did fuck all afterwards. Sarri tries to bring that possession style, the Italian stallion sort of football, where it's control, discipline, aggression. Over here, you can't get away with a lot of what you can in Italy. You can stud somebody in Italy and walk away without a yellow card. You do that over in this league, mate. They get the screens up and they do you for damage. That's just how our league works, and I don't think that football would work over here, personally. From what I've seen as well with Nagelsmann, the high pressing system, the last 2 coaches we've brought in Rangnick for the period that we did, and Ten Hag, they've tried to play this pressing style with the squad we have right now, and we just get played around. We don't. We're pressing, but we're half-hearted pressing. So there's no point. And if these managers are trying to do this with this squad of players, and the last 2 coaches who have tried to implement that to them, and it's not going in and it's not sinking in to the point where they're doing it week in, week out, and they know what they're doing against whoever they play against, it's not going to work if you bring in another coach who plays that way. So for me, out of all of the managers that we've looked at in those 4, Iraola, I think, fits just because of the way that he plays and the adaptability of it. and he's already in this league and he's proving what he can do at a lower scale. The only issue I have with it is I don't think Bournemouth are going to let him go for cheap, not at the start of a season and when they can see how shit Manchester United are and how good they are in comparison. The only thing that I'd said with Amorim was he wanted to leave he wanted to leave in the summer. You don't speak to Liverpool, West Ham, Brighton. I think he even spoke to Barcelona as well, guy. He spoke to like 4 different clubs. Clearly, he wanted to move on and have something new and a different challenge somewhere else. The thing I like about him, Jarvis, is I can't remember a manager that come to this league with a back 3 system where you had inverted fullbacks. The last one that I think he probably used it was when Conte came to this league, but he was a lot more compact with the system. And he developed players like Victor Moses. He almost invented this inverted wing-back role.
But he didn't even play the back 3 at the beginning of the season. He won the first 2 games, and then he changed it up.
Yeah, he changed the style up, and then they went on and won the league, and they completely blew everybody away with the style. But the thing is that I like with Amorim is when he plays the diamond with the 3 at the back, because it's all in the way his system works, it's all integrated around the midfield. If the midfield's not ticking, it's not going to work. And the big problem that we have right now is that midfield. So for me, if he came into Manchester United, he will look at that midfield and say, it's not good enough. The only saving grace that I like with Amorim is he's worked with Ugarte before, so he knows that he's a player that he would want. And he's worked under that diamond system before as that leading DM. So you're not going to waste your money that you've just spent on Ugarte. But the difference is, I already can tell you for a fact, if it's Iraola or Amorim that come in, they will work with Bruno Fernandes in the short term, but they will look to get rid of him in the long term because he's not going to be able to keep the ball in the diamond system with Amorim or with what you've just said, Jarvis, in the 4-4-2 flat system that Iraola wants to play. You cannot look at Sporting or look at Bournemouth and say there is a creative midfielder in that team, a number 10. They don't play with 10s. They play with 2 8s. That's the way that those managers play, or coaches rather. And for me, I like the back 3 system because it's something that I've not seen us use before, but also with the players that we have right now, guys, I just think it would suit us better to try that. Even if Ten Hag went to Porto, guys, and he played a back 3, I want to see just if it would work or if it helps us in some way. And then if you end up getting rid of him in the long term, well, then we have a blueprint to know that the players can play in that formation or they can play a certain way. That's what I want to see. And out of all the managers, I just personally think Amorim, he would jump at the chance to go to another club straight away.
Yeah, big up, Tom. I just want to go to this. This is the thing, what's wrong with Manchester United fans, right? At this moment in time, lower class, Brum. You're not a lower class, by the way, but, big up, Brum. I love Birmingham. My great uncle, when he came to this country, and my granddad, they went to Birmingham. So big up Birmingham. A lot of love for Birmingham and Brummies. I'll say this. This is the problem with some of the majority United fans. And thank you for posting this. What you don't understand is that at this moment in time, in this global billion-pound empire club, the coach is not getting his ideas across to the players. That's why in the space of 3 days, we conceded 2 similar goals. One was the equalizer for FC20, where a player picks up the ball and runs through our team. And then the other one, you've got a defender running 70 to 80 yards to go all the way down to the byline and square it for a tap-in. So please save me about this. Iraola, within 2-3 months, Manchester, you'll be able to close your eyes, Brum, and you'll be able to go, I know what Manchester United are doing. I know what we're doing without the ball. I know what we're doing with the ball. And that's the thing what most people will never understand, right? So Manchester United are a mid-table. We're the mid-table team, bro. I don't know where you're getting this from. We are a mid-table mediocre. And I am absolutely flabbergasted. And I think 100%, Jarvis, you need to watch the game again because we didn't set up like them. We didn't know what we were doing. Majority of the games this season, we've gone for possession style, Xerxes, Eriksen, Ahmad, possession kind of playing. That's what we've gone for. Kobe, that's what we've gone for majority of the season. And then all of a sudden, he changed it to the runners. Crystal Palace, he bought the runners on. We didn't go anywhere. runners were on against FC20. We didn't get anywhere. The only time runners worked was against Barnsley. So you start the season, the coaches are coaching the team to be a possession-based football team, and then he brings and plays 2 road runners and says, we're going to play this basic kind of hit the ball over the top and for Rashford to run onto. You can't play football like that. Manchester United were nowhere. We were back to shadow pressing. We were back to the basketballification of football, what I've been saying. So when the critical moments come, Jarvis, and the game in the game where the other team's on top, and yet again, there are, in this season, the only time we played the decent teams, not even decent, but good teams who have a game plan and who are well coached. Anytime Manchester United have come against a team that's well coached and know what they're doing, we struggled. We hold 3 against Liverpool. Spurs could have been, again, Liverpool could have been 6. Spurs could have been 8 or 9.
Spurs didn't have the best player either. If Son's in those positions,
I'm sorry,
Jarvis,
I don't know what you're seeing and what you're telling me, how you're coping, telling us, or telling yourself even. I respect your opinion, but that things can change. And when Man United win, it's going to change. No, I want to just explain to people. For me, I'm about how you win, how you lose, how you draw. The how's important to me. Not the fact that you draw, you lose, you win. In football, they're the most guaranteed things in football. You're either going to lose, you're going to win, or you're going to draw. That's a factual aspect of football. But it's about how you win, how you lose, and how you draw. And more importantly is, modern football, every team is asked a question. Simple question. As a team, what are you without the ball? Where are you? Right? With the ball, what are you doing? It's simple. In modern football takes away because we're not making, or the players who are sensational are not as free as they were to go around, Jarvis. In our days, when we were growing up, right, the most magical footballers, there were so many magical number 10s. There were so many magical midfielders. There were so many magical strikers, right? Yeah. In the last 10 years, 15 years, academies grew up throughout globally and not producing global, like in terms of so many like strikers. Like I could name you, I remember in the 90s, mid to late 90s, I can name you 10, 12 strikers globally who were superb. Like you couldn't pick between them. I could pick you 10 or 12 number 10s who were superb. I can pick you a wing, 13 wingers. I can pick you 14 central midfield players who were superb. Like that ain't happening anymore. Now it's become, because football has become more like robotic and more about systems, right? And how you then, the best coaches are the ones who adapt quickly, who can see what's going on the football pitch and change it, who don't wait for all day, who can do the in-game management. As you know, Jarvis, I'm not telling you anything new. I'm telling this to the audience. I'm not telling you. Because I know you know all of this. You understand them. Tom knows, you know, right? So when the team in 2 games in a row concede a goal from identical things, do you know this is structural? It's not about the team. And then when you know he wanted to hold possession, then he drops Eriksen and Ahmad and goes with the 2 runners, where actually with a team that's playing a high line, Jarvis, if you ever played or you ever coached to play against a team with a high line, you always say, play the ball first time and make sure if you can play the ball first time, that will break the offside trap, and play that extra pass. Don't force it straight away to go in behind. Don't force it. Play the extra pass. Only when you're ready, play the first time pass. When it's appropriate. But play the extra pass and actually keep hold of the ball.
We don't
because
do that.
Spurs press. Keep hold of the ball. And then if you can keep hold of the ball, get into the midfield, you can overload them because you've got about 5 players behind you. Because that's how much they risk to press outside. So if I know, watch the game again, Jarvis, if I was you, and then make notes and understand what happened in that game, because it was nothing to do with the players. It was all to do with Erik ten Hag's tactics. And yet again, his refusal to change it. Even when he made the 2 substitutions, and we thought, okay, bringing on Eriksen, bringing on what's his name, Casemiro and Ugarte to play together. Will you watch it? One of the Timo Werner chances, guess where positionally, where is Casemiro? Casemiro, with 10 men, Casemiro is out by himself pressing the right back, Pero. And then the distance between Casemiro and Ugarte with 10 men is about 35 yards. The distance between Ugarte and the defense is 45 yards. I'm sorry. You cannot play with that way of playing. You cannot play with that way of playing. But go ahead.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of interesting things. But one thing I've learned, because I've been following football for, I would say, almost 40 years now of my life. And the thing is, when you win, you seldomly as good as you think. And when you lose, you seldomly as bad as you think. And it comes to one thing. You don't play alone on the pitch. There's an opposition. And for example, when we play at our worst, we usually, because we see it with our tinted Man United eyes, it's Man United that's terrible. And when we win, it's because we are so great. We are so fantastic. But there's always at least two teams on the pitch. And we got to remember this. And this is what I'm saying. We try to play out. We try to do what you're talking about for the first, because for me, at least the first 20 to 25 minutes are the most interesting, seeing from a tactical perspective, because then all the tactics are fresh in mind, and players are usually going with a plan of the manager. But after a while, the game sets itself in its own rhythm. So
then you need new ideas.
Yes, that's the thing. So I would say when I saw the first, I think Spurs were much better than us at the high press. They tried to press us really high. They set us up in traps, and we lost the ball. But we tried to play it out from the back. We tried to play it out to the center back, into the central defender, back to the DM. I don't know. But Spurs were on us all the time, so we couldn't do it, and we were sloppy. We couldn't put more than 3 passes together, and we lost the ball over and over again. And we panicked and just hoofed it up to the midfielder under pressure, who obviously lost the ball. At the other end, when we were pressing really bad. I could see it in the first 30 seconds. One ball, they played back to the goalkeeper. Bruno chasing the goalkeeper straight on. The goalkeeper just passes the ball to the center back who gone wide. Bruno chases the center back, but it's Rashford's time to press. So they both press the same man. But they're both pressing from the same angle. Rashford from the inside and Bruno from the inside. So the center back just passes the ball outside. It's because they don't think, they don't press. And that was the first 30 seconds. It told me something was wrong with the press play.
And Jarvis, how many times?
And then again, Spurs, we won the ball again when they came to the midfield. We tried to hit it long on Xerxes. Xerxes goes up and flicks it. Rashford stands 5 meters on the side of Xerxes, but it doesn't go in behind, even though it's a long ball against Xerxes, who's almost 2 meters tall.
But Jarvis, can I ask you a question? How many times under Erik ten Hag have you seen those two guys press like that?
Yeah, but the thing is, we have Bruno, we have Rashford, which we tried to set up tactically, but it's almost like setting up with 9 men tactically.
They're not pressing
because they don't understand jack shit. That's my biggest problem.
100%. They're not pressing 100%.
To change it. Who's got the power to take those 2 players out if he wants to play that tactic?
As I say, I'm not defending Ten Hag when it comes to this. I see it from a tactical point of view, what could have been done better, and what I see as one of the biggest problems. We have a couple of players who don't understand anything when it comes to tactics, how to set up, how to be disciplined, how to do stuff. That's a big problem.
But then he keeps picking them.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, though, guys.
Big up 256. How many for Erik ten Hag? He's asking you, Jarvis. 2,500. What more do you want? Like, for me, it's simple. The players are not listening. The players gave up. That's why you see people like walking. And the shadow pressing came back, Jarvis. The shadow pressing came back in full effect.
Yeah, but you can see, as you say, you want to see things. You want to see us improve. I would say, let's say the FA Cup final against Manchester City and the 3 to 4 last games of the season were really good. It turned everything around. So 5 games turned it around. I can say 5. 5 games can turn it around, for
And
example.
why, Jarvis? Why? What did he do in those 5 games,
If,
Jarvis?
yeah, but I'm not after result, but I want to see us play
No,
discipline.
but what did he do? What did Erik ten Hag do in those 5 games?
Well, he set up a different style. He played with a double pivot, for example.
And what did
He played compact.
There you go. There you go,
Yeah.
Jarvis. There you go. And now, Jarvis, he's refusing to do that.
Yeah,
So
but it's
why
not
do
only
you have
that.
still faith? I just don't understand. What gives you faith with Erik ten Hag, where he's showing us when he plays compact, the team looks totally different. But when he plays this basketballification of football, that we're all over the place. How?
But we played with a different rhythm. It's about moving as a unit. We played with a different rhythm at the end of the season.
But Jarvis, you're making it out like Erik ten Hag is at the wheel and he can't see anything. He's at the wheel. He's the man in charge, and he's telling the players to play this way.
The thing is, though, guys, the thing is, when we look at Erik ten Hag, right, he's got a refusal to backstab some of these high paycheck players. The 2 high paycheck players that we have right now left is Rashford and Fernandes. Ignore Casemiro for 1 second, because he's not one of these players that's always in the limelight for all the shit that he gets. Fernandes has been here a lot longer. Rashford has been here a lot longer. They should know better. They have worked under numerous managers at this club and failed time after time again. The difference is, I will put this question to Erik ten Hag and say, you might not drop these big paycheck players, but I can for sure tell you, Erik ten Hag, if those 2 of the big paycheck players knocked on certain people's doors at Carrington and said, this guy's not good enough anymore and the squad don't accept him anymore, you would be gone. I guarantee you that, because the poster boy of Manchester United, in Marcus Rashford, he's the poster boy, he's the PR guy. He's the guy that everybody in that youth academy looks up to as inspiration to get to the first team. If he knocks on your door, listen, love it or hate it, guys, people in that football club are going to listen. The captain, if he knocks on the door and says things aren't going right in the dressing room, I'm the leader in the dressing room. I can see it. We are shot. We are gun shy, mate. We are low on everything. And the fact of that, these players, right, and let me just make this last point about Fernandes as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he made the point when he did an interview, I can't remember who he did it with anyway, I think it was with one of the news articles, a couple of months after he got sacked. And he said, we got into half-time against Watford and Harry Maguire didn't want to keep the captaincy any longer. He threw the armband on the floor and he picked the armband up and he said, does anybody want this? And not one player, and Bruno Fernandes was in that dressing room, and he was a player who everybody called for to be the leader and the captain of this squad. He didn't say a fucking word or put his hand up in that dressing room. And put it from my perspective, guys, I would rather believe I would rather believe a club legend who's worked at this football club as a manager and a player, and he wanted the best. Listen, Solskjaer was inept, but he wanted the best for this football club. And he realised that there was a time where he had to go. And enough was enough. And at the end of the day, when you have a full dressing room, guys, of players, and not one of them puts their hand up, and then suddenly one of those players who was in that dressing room, who didn't put his hand up when the going got tough, is now your captain, what do you expect that you're going to see on the pitch? It's what we're seeing right now, where they just don't want to be there, guys. They'll take these.
Yeah,
they will take the easy way out. And look, that's a context point that's from 3 years ago. But 3 years ago onwards now, it's the same issue and the same problem. The difference is he wears the armband, not the other players. The only thing that I'm saying, guys, is if those 2 knocked on the door, Erik ten Hag would be gone. If Erik ten Hag knocked on those senior executive doors and said, get rid of those 2, they won't do it. Because they're the poster boy of Manchester United, who's the inspiration for the academy, and the leader of the football club in Fernandes. It's not going to happen. So Erik ten Hag needs to understand, if he wants to stay on here or he wants to try and turn this sinking ship round, these players have no qualms about knocking on a door and getting you gone, because they have the influence and the respect internally at the club from the hierarchy, maybe not the fans, but the hierarchy, that they will listen to those 2 players out of the whole squad. They will not listen to Erik ten Hag's opinion over those 2 players, because they've been here longer than him and they've been here in the doldrums and in the shits of this squad. If you lose Rashford, you can no longer say to the academy players, There's the golden boy in our first team. You should aspire to be Marcus Rashford. You can't say that anymore. He's not there. There's no academy product in that squad. That's been there 5-10 years. Cobby's a new kid in this squad. You can't use him as inspiration. He's just like the rest of them in the academy, guys. He's raw, he's young. So for what I'm saying, guys, is if you bring in a new manager, I guarantee you now, out of the ones that we've said in Amorim and Iraola, they will look at Bruno Fernandes and say, we can't keep the ball in midfield with this guy. You can't do it. It's just impossible to do. Those managers play with 2 number 8s, not a number 10. So it doesn't fit them to have Fernandes at that in that position. And listen, Rohit, with a brilliant point here. Keep this comment up, Dino. Even Bruno, keep that comment up that you just had before. Even Bruno tossed the armband to Mazraoui, was just a couple of yards away. He was walking, mind you, in no rush to get off the pitch. Disgraceful. You tossed the armband to a player who you didn't end up wearing the armband anyway. That's it's disrespectful to your colleagues and disrespectful to your teammates. And you know something? There's a lot of players in this squad who have been captains elsewhere. De Ligt's been a captain somewhere else. Yeah. He was the captain with this guy at Ajax. Martinez has been vice captain over at Ajax before. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think Mazraoui's wore the armband once when he was at Bayern. I think a couple of these players within this squad have wore the armband at other clubs before. Fernandes wore it for Portugal once. You've seen players in this squad wear this armband elsewhere. So why, when it comes to this club, when a new manager comes in or a new coach comes in, guys, the big question is, if you get rid of those 2 players, you are serious about wanting to change the way that this team plays, the culture inside the football club, and get rid of the toxicity, because you have no chemistry connection to this club. You don't have that young boy in the academy who's this golden child like Rashford. You don't have any more of those players anymore. The same way you don't have this captain off. Honestly, he's not a captain for me. I think he's fake. I am going to say it now. I don't believe in this Bruno Fernandes leadership hype. I actually don't. Because that story that I've just told everybody there about Solskjaer, even Jarvis's face perked up when I said that, and it was 3 years ago. Jarvis completely forgot about that. I only just recalled that somebody put that a post up on social media a couple of weeks ago, before this game and everything, and it's always stuck in my mind ever since that. And I thought, well, it's true, isn't it? Fernandes was on that pitch when we lost 4-1. He was in that dressing room when Harry Maguire was the captain. Maguire put the armband down and he said, I don't want to do this anymore. Ollie, I've had enough. He picks the armband up and he says, who wants this? Bruno Fernandes didn't put his hand up. He didn't step up in that dressing room when the going got tough. So why do you expect him to do it now? And it's just one of those things where I look at it and I think to myself, yeah, we lack leaders in this squad, but they've been leaders elsewhere. So why do you not want to step up at this club when it matters? The most important thing is, the players who are going to be successful at this club in maybe 4 or 5 years' time, guys, when they'll weather the storm through the shits of this club. When the going gets tough, guys, they don't give up. And I've seen so many players that have come to this team, guys, and they just give up. They do give up. Listen, for all the praise that I've given players like Mazraoui and De Ligt, guys, I think they're down tools yesterday. I am going to be honest with you. I do think that for what they've given at other football clubs in leadership and actually trying and fighting to the 90th minute, I just think they looked at the rest of the squad and think,
I don't know how true it is.
What the fuck's the point?
But after the FC20, apparently he was really unhappy and he put them through intensive training. And that's why they look shot. That's what somebody said to me. This thing, though, Dino, let me just ask you this anyway. When he was at Ajax and they lost the game terribly or whatever, and De Ligt and Mazraoui, all these players, Martinez and that, when they was over there, I've never heard a Dutch report come out from years ago to say that he hounded the players and he punished them, like he ran them into the ground to the point where they're pulling hamstrings or any shit like that. I'd never heard that before when he was at Ajax. So why is it all of a sudden different now at Manchester United? And these are his players. Listen, I genuinely do not know. That's what I'm heard. It might not be true. It could be true. Jarvis, I'll let you have the last word because my next door neighbour invited me for dinner and I'm holding her back. She's just calling me loads of times. Anyway.
Dino's getting wine and dined. Big up.
Yeah, big up.
Well, I just want to end, and we talked about different managers and what type of manager we wanted. I just want to remind you all about Alex Ferguson. I know we don't want to go back in time and football has changed, but Alex Ferguson was never a good coach. People got to remember this. He had coaches coaching for him. We had Brian Kidd, Steve McLaren, Carlos Queiroz, and Mike Phelan and
Jarvis,
Mullenstein. All
he
of
had
these
a right
guys.
idea on how to
Yeah,
play
but
football.
the thing is, what Ferguson was best at, because I heard an interview with Scholes and Nicky Butt and all of those guys sitting talking, and they said when Ferguson had sessions, it was terrible. They said it themselves. It was terrible. But the thing with Ferguson, he was a really good man manager. He could talk to people. He could straighten them up. He could help them out. Young kids.
Ten Hag is neither.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So I think for Ten Hag, I think he's a good tactical manager, to be fair, but I think he's a terrible man manager.
Communicator. He can't communicate.
And I think this is where he needs help. Someone who can really help him to motivate people.
But they don't listen to
him out.
they don't listen to a system.
Jarvis, would you be pissed off Ruud till the end of the season if Ten Hag goes?
No. I would accept Ruud because I think we don't have any good options now midwinter. But I think it should be an interim, and we should be tough enough to say it's just an interim, even though Ruud does well, because we shouldn't go on a bandwagon. Emotions FC.
Yeah, big up. Breaking Manchester United have dropped to 13. Bournemouth are winning 1-0. Big up.
Big up, Trey.
No, I can send you some videos of Fergie coaching, and then you can tell me if it's shit. I hope they're still on YouTube.
It's not my word. It's the players.
No, it's what they said. Yeah, it's what they said. Goals. Yeah, but sometimes the players say something. All I know is that Fergie knew what type of football he wanted. If he didn't coach it, he got coaches to coach the type of football that he wanted. And that's what we have to understand. But big up to you, Jarvis.
Yep.
Big up to you, Tom. Are you doing a Jarvis corner tonight?
No. I hadn't prepared anything. I just came home from work. Doing your own show, you need to have some.
Of course, fine.
Prepared. 100%. So
you are Mr. Preparation. You see, it's not like Eric and I winging it. Look, Jarvis needs to prepare a couple of hours for the show. Get it all the time. Big up to you, bro. Appreciate you, Jarvis. Welcome home. I hope you had a lovely time in your holidays. Big up, Tom. And but let me know in the comments, please, people. Let me know in the comments. Out of the 4 managers, who would you take? Coaches, not managers, they're coaches. Who would you take? And then also, who would you take? And then also, if you suggest some other coaches, right? To me, the Eric Ten Hag, I'm post Eric Ten Hag now. Tom, is that how you say it? Post, when you've gone past it now. Eric Ten Hag, for me, is done. It's about Ineos. For me personally, Ineos, when I keep him, I think they might continue to let the fans suffer. I mean, I've been suffering for 10 years, apparently 17 million, but it might be
about the money.
So it might be like 10 million for him to go. But guys, he's from a multi-millionaire family. He's already millionaire, even when he retired from football, because his family are quite rich in the Netherlands. So don't feel too sorry for Eric Ten Hag. He's gonna go there and be a millionaire and go to another job in Spain or whatever, rebuild his career somewhere else and learn from this time at Manchester United. But let me know who you think in the comments and who do you want. Do you want a manager that you think you can take us to a league challenge, like Inzaghi, like Conte, like Simeone, like Zidane, like Ancelotti? Or do you need a coach? Do you agree with us that we need to crawl, then we need to walk, then we need to sprint? Do you believe that? Also, let me know in the comments that if you are with me, that if they're gonna sack him, it's only till January. They're not gonna do it now. They're not gonna do international break. They'll do it in January if they're gonna sack him. Or they might even wait till the end of the season. So if you agree with those things, let me know. If you disagree, also let me know. Free Palestine, free Lebanon, free Congo, free Sudan, free Ogaden, free Tigray, free everywhere where Haiti, where anybody's oppressed domestically, globally, internationally. And F the war machine, F Zionism, and our solidarity and our hearts are with the people of Lebanon and the people of Palestine, specifically, who are getting the shit bombed out of them as we speak right now. When America, the empire, may you crumble. May you fucking crumble. I love Americans, not with the people. Their government, their industrial military complex, they're corrupt as fuck. They make money from the bombs dropping on people's children's heads. That's what the evil world. So does Britain. Britain makes money from that as well. So does Germany. So the big European countries. We need to make people so ashamed to ever work on and build weapons that kill and maim people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Big up to you, though. Big up to everybody. Love. Fuck Zionism. Fuck Zionism. Freedom all. Fuck Zionism. What? Peace, love, light, win, lose, draw, Glazers up, Jim the Rat. This is on you. This is on Omar. This is on Dodgy Dave. This is on the quartersexuals. This is on Will Cox. This is on Blanc. This is in all Jim. Is this a fucking vanity project, or are you here to help this club move forward? That's the question. Big up. Make sure you check out Tom Journalist 1. Jarvis Cocker. Never gonna give you what. He's not giving up on it.
Nah.
He stayed true. Rick Astley stayed true to Eric. He's not giving up on Eric yet. Big up, Jarvis. I like your principle. I love that. And Tom Journalist 1. Make sure usually on the Mondays you'll find him on Jarvis Corner, 9 o'clock on Mondays. Take care. I'm gonna go and get some food.
Yeah.
My neighbor, by the way, she's a lovely. We've got things to discuss. It's not a date. Don't get giddy. Don't get excited. If I'm going on a date, I'll let you be the first people I'll let you know. You are the first people I'll let you know if I'm going on a date, right? You will know, right? If I'm going on a date. Trust me, I've got nothing to hide. I'll tell you all. But it's just, we're going to discuss some stuff with neighbors. So love and light. Take care, people. Peace. Jarvis, enjoy the game. Let me know how Iraola does, because I'll be having dinner. But let me know. Watch him, Tom. Have a look at Iraola.
I'm watching right now.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Nice one, Jarvis. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace.
Good night.
Peace.